Hey out there, Red Sox Nation. Sox coming off a successful winning road trip. Going to be coming back to the friendly confines this week. We will talk about the first week of the season and look ahead to the Sox first homestand here on AfterBuzz TV, Red Sox Wrap 360.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Ready for more. Some like it hot and some like when the heat is on.
I mean, I wouldn't say they're that hot starting off the season.
The heat's on.
The heat is on?
The heat is
You're
on.
calling it heat? It's like,
The heat is on.
you know, it's a 3-2 road swing. I guess that's pretty good.
Whether you like it or not, the heat's coming tomorrow because we got DP at the on the hill tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. So I'm excited. Already I was excited about this Red Sox season, and all three of us are excited. Alongside lifetime Red Sox fan Ben Fay and Kevin Finn, I'm Mike Conley. This is Red Sox Wrap 360. So, gang, we're psyched about the Sox. Obviously, we were pumped up and anticipating this season for, at least for me, since last season ended. But they're out of the gates pretty good. And we kind of hopped on it last week of how important it was to get off to that good start, you know? So, I mean, a split in Cleveland, with the rain out, and then 2 out of 3 in Toronto, you kind of got to be happy with that.
I mean, I'm not upset with today's loss. 3-0 loss, but you got right with the longest start of the season, I believe.
Yeah, that's correct.
And, you got a Toronto team that really, quite frankly, they had to win. I mean, they needed a win today. And, you get the Sox looking at their flight, get ready to get out of town, pretty happy with themselves. So I am fired up about this team. I love the way they've played in the first week. I mean, I was happy last week when we did this. I'm even happier right now because it's like I feel better about what we have going on. Other than our starting pitching, I mean, I think everyone's getting A-minuses to B-pluses for the first week.
Oh, yeah. And Stephen Wright today, you mentioned him. I mean, he gave up 2 runs in the first and then settled down. It was great. Went 7 in the third, I think.
If that's going to be a little bit of what he has to offer, I mean, at that end of the rotation, I mean, a knuckleballer, and then you got to face right. You know what I mean? The next day.
I love it. I'm so happy that he's succeeding because then he can go out and throw 117 pitches, 118 for a career high, whatever he did.
Exactly.
I mean, it's like that rubber arm and having that in your rotation, especially when you have all these guys in your rotation that haven't gone to 100 innings. So there's going to be a lot of guys on like 150, 160 innings limits, So it's good to have that rubber arm in there. So I'm definitely excited about Stephen Wright. And however, during the week, there was some, there's some trepidation. And I thought Jim Catt put it best on the MLB Network telecast on Friday night when he was describing the Red Sox rotation. David Price and Roll the Dice.
Right. That's a good one. I like that.
Hall of Famer Jim Catt, and that is why you're a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. I was expecting you to roll out the Pray for Rain, but the Roll the Dice is much better.
Oh, yeah. Well, it rhymes. Kev. Rain and Price.
That's why it works,
so much.
I think. I mean, he looked like he's only going to gain steam as the season goes on. There was nothing there that I think you could take that, as a negative from his first start.
Price?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Just as good as advertised.
And it's going to be one of those things. He's going to come out in Fenway. Hopefully it's going to be, some heavy bats, some heavy weather, and let's just get him into that winning feeling there at Fenway, get them comfortable, get that first win out of the way. I'd really like to see them win tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. That would be nice. That would be nice. Anybody knock your socks off this week, Ben? Somebody maybe you weren't, expecting to come out of the gates as fast? Or?
Well, not somebody who I wasn't expecting. I was expecting Brock Holt to do well. This is a guy that I was watching all season and just kind of slamming my head against the wall because they weren't featuring him nearly as much as I thought they should. And wow. I mean, what a start he had. He is crushing it. High averages, getting on base. He did have an error. I think it was not today, but yesterday.
Let's mention the error after his grand slam.
That grand salami.
Barely squeaked it over the wall.
Hey, it was a rope.
Hey, that counts, right?
Yeah, it does.
So,
and a game they won there. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but a game they won there that last year they lose. They lose that game. They're down 7-2. That team folds up shop. And, that big game's over. I mean,
it all goes back to, like what we were saying last week about getting off to that good start. Because not only is it where you are in the standings and record-wise, it's where you are mentality-wise, And, like, if you see your team fight through in a game early in the season, and that becomes the personality of your team, and that carries out.
You're picking up starting pitchers. The starting pitchers go out there with a completely different mindset. They know that it's a possibility that they can give up 7. You're still going to come back and maybe give them a win, and that's got to make things a little bit easier for them.
Every fly ball to the left might not be a double. Things like that.
that's.
I mean,
yes.
I don't want a dog on hand rant, but actually, before we move on from Brock Holt, I do feel like, as much as I love the Brock star, I do feel like he's kind of died down, like kind of tired out, or maybe got fatigued the past couple of years because he went from maybe being a bit player and to becoming a full-time guy. Do you think that's just a stamina issue, and much like building up a pitcher, he's going to be fine to play 155 games at a high level, 150 games, or is this guy more of a guy that's going to be successful playing around 130 games?
Well, I mean, I think that it does when you're, especially when you're first starting out. You're trying to prove yourself, so you're working extra hard. And kind of as you settle in, you're probably going to regress to the mean a little bit. But I mean, I haven't seen that yet early on in the season, so I'm still expecting big things from him. Just a super valuable guy. He's got high average. He's great in the field at a number of different positions, and also something that we don't quite mention often enough is a great character guy as well. Never hear any issues coming out of Brock Holt. So,
and what else does it allow you to do with the Travis Shaw, Pablo Sandoval situation? Everyone wants to say, well, we're not ready to completely turn the keys over to Travis Shaw. But if you got Brock Holt doing what he's doing, I mean, don't you kind of have to do something? Like, you can't really platoon at third base unless Brock Holt's part of that situation, because how are we gonna not give him all the playing time he's gonna deserve if he's playing this way? I mean, they're gonna platoon the outfield because they have to. They gotta keep guys coming in and out of there, so they're gonna platoon in left field. So now, where are we gonna go with this third base situation here?
Well, I mean, it looks like it's T. Shaw, and then when did Pablo start? Was it versus a lefty, or was it just a day game after a night game? He got one start.
It was yesterday,
right?
I believe.
Yeah, and then Shaw played first.
And I mean, you can't write this stuff. Did you guys see the clip of his belt?
Yeah,
I missed that.
He swung and missed, and his belt exploded off his body. Spontaneous combustion. Never have I seen, in all my years of watching baseball, anything like it. And it was, I mean, this has got to be back to what I was talking about last week with just the embarrassment factor. I mean, it has been playing on every sports channel that I've been on rotate, and it's a tagline. Yeah. It's not like, they're laughing at the Red Sox, and not really the Red Sox. They're laughing at Pablo. Yeah, and I mean,
in turn, don't you have to laugh at the Red Sox? They're the team paying him $19 million.
Exactly. So how long does this go on for before they just? I mean, something happens.
I mean,
here.
I do wish the guy would do something about his weight. I mean, I am just looking for reasons to throw my support behind a fat guy. You know that about me. So just show me a little effort. Like you care an ounce, and I'm in your camp.
He looks to me like he's gained weight since he arrived at spring training.
Yeah.
He looks to me like he has gained weight. He looked terrible because they showed it on ESPN, had it 15 different ways. They showed the wide shot, then they showed the from behind, then they showed the belt on like a super close, like close up shot, like showing the belt explode. And I was like, dude, his waistline has gotten worse.
Yeah. All right, well,
I do want to defend him a little bit here because I feel like I watched last week's show and I did hear you guys ripping on him pretty hard.
Oh, you were the one.
He was injured during spring training this year, right? He had a back issue. I think that's something that they're not going to talk a lot about. He's going to, of course, say, my back is fine. I'm ready to play. That's what his agent wants him to say. That's what everybody wants him to say. But ultimately, you got to take some time off to rest that back. It kind of takes you out of the swing of things. So I think, if we let him come back, slowly ease him back in, let's see what he can do. I'm not ready to cut bait on him just yet, right?
Yeah. You know how you fix a back issue real quick?
Get rid of your stomach.
Lose 20 pounds.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Work on your core.
Not only does he have to take time off, he has to take a belly off.
I have zero sympathy for his back issue in spring training because I feel like, you know what? Were you in the right shape to? I mean, you bent over for a ground ball and you hurt your back.
Yeah.
You know?
Conversely, though, I do kind of like having him available as a pinch hitter. You know? And
His pitch hitting numbers are supposedly atrocious.
oh, really?
They're abominable from what I've heard.
Man.
He's a terrible pinch hitter.
Well, he's going to have to get good. Because, I mean, I hear what you're saying. We can't really give up on him now, and I kind of hopped on this point last week, so I'll just go by it. But you'd be selling low on him.
We're never going to get back to high. We're never getting back
What
to high.
happens if T-Shaw goes down, and then we need somebody at third
Brock
base?
Holt's gonna play third base.
Chris Young plays left field all the time?
Yeah.
Chris Young, he played against a righty today, and he didn't look good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he should be lefties only. And I was a little surprised that they didn't go with, where they're giving Holt the day off because he fouled the ball off his foot.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't go with Castillo.
Rusty.
Yeah, because, I mean, this guy doesn't throw that hard, Estrada. He's like 90, 91, you know, maybe he could get
man,
that.
jeez.
But
Is that where we're at right now?
after 2 hits yesterday, you know? Or
Yeah.
is this guy only going to face knuckleballers? He's just going to get like 7 starts versus R.A. Dickey this year?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Possibly.
I mean, if the guy throwing doesn't throw higher than 92, you got to throw him in there, you know? Give him a chance. He's making $10 million a year, you know? Anyways, I mean, I don't care. It's not out of my pocket.
Yeah.
But, all right, we want to keep it on a positive note rather than just,
Bashing.
lampooning friggin' Panda the entire time.
I
But,
mean, the greatest part for me about
I
this
guess
is this
we're
just
gonna
really
continue.
hasn't been an issue. You know what I mean? They're not focusing on it as much as they really could be because they're winning right now, and it's not an issue. I think if they were 0-5 right now, then the Panda thing would be a huge problem.
Absolutely
But they're
right.
3-2. They're playing great, and put them on the bench, and hopefully things change for the better.
Yeah, winning cures all ails, as the old saying goes. You want to tell folks out there that just listen to us what you guys' Twitter handles are? I know it's under your face on the TV, but you guys...
Yeah, you can hit me at Benny Frickin' Jam.
Just like it sounds.
Spelt just the way you would think.
And what about you, Finn?
At Kevin F. Finn.
Kevin F. Finn, just like
Twitter.
it sounds. Just
Yep.
like it sounds. That's 2 F's, 2 N's. You know?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Correct. Correct.
gotcha.
Thank you.
That's for Kevin Frank Finn, I believe.
Francis.
Francis, gotcha. Yeah, so we touched upon him earlier. Hand Ram, thank you very much. Is that coming out of the gates very nice.
Yep.
Ever since he's decided, okay, I'm going to make an effort to go the other way. And it's like, it's unbelievable that guys still try and pull everything because you become a much better hitter when you use the opposite field, you know? And I don't care if he's fielding balls down there with a frying pan. If he hits friggin' this well,
Yeah.
you keep him in there.
And I think it's one of those things where he was just really mentally a lot more comfortable just being in the infield. He's clearly one of those
Definitely.
guys that's just, since he's probably been 6 years old, they've been had the kid at shortstop throwing rockets over to first base, and it hasn't changed. And then all of a sudden he gets to the major leagues, and they want him to play left field. So I like the way he's actually handled the transition to first base. And I mean, how do you not like that bat? And obviously, he's going to be a nice transition in the DH role. So it looks like Dom has that one figured out right now.
Interesting thing I heard today on today's telecast, they asked Poppy who they thought would be the DH next year, and he said, well, there's 2 guys in that other dugout that are coming up on free agency. Talking about Batista and then Cassione.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting. Both those guys have pretty good Fenway swings.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Batista sounds
Batista's-
like he wants to break the bank a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not sure about Batista
Really?
as far as I mean, I as a ball player, but I don't know if he's a Red Sox guy. That's someone that they're gonna. I mean, you think they'd go out and sign him as a DH?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But I don't think they will because he's a guy who's kind of a late bloomer.
Yeah.
And so he's looking to get paid.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him stay in Toronto or go to the NL.
Yeah, let's have him go to the NL.
I know Rick Porcello would like that.
Yeah.
I mean, he actually pitched okay, aside from the 2 bombs he gave up to Bautista.
And they were bombs.
They were bombs. Utter bombs. But, I mean, he does have a good Fenway swing. I mean, but, what's it going to take to get him? 4 out of 100
Yeah,
million?
I mean, this is the first I thought of that, but that'd be an interesting, Red Sox, that's for sure. Bat flip.
So what I do think is interesting is that the Sox are out on this good start, and B&B haven't started even hitting yet. Bogarts was like 0 for Cleveland, and now he's picking it up the past couple games. And then and Betts, after that first
Yeah.
You know, the opening day game, he had a homer, stole a base. I was like, okay, here it is.
Here it is.
Here's the start of the AL MVP campaign. I was all psyched, and now he's like, what? 0 for
Petey hitting well
16.
though. Pedroia's hitting really well.
Petey's coming on, so that's good. And Poppy, really, that's really kind of what killed that team last year, because he was very slow out of the gate last year. He didn't start hitting until like June.
Right.
And you know, to have that guy in that 4-hole mashing right off that just leaps and bounds. And that way, it kind of takes the heat off the Bogarts and the Betts of the world, you know,
sure.
and Bradley too.
And I think the other thing I wanted to talk about before when we were talking about Sandoval and having all that flexibility is that, you know, we do have some flexibility to give Ortiz some days off every now and then. Like, look, it is his last season. I want to trot him out there every day and see him break the home run record and, you know, all that, right? But realistically, we need to get him to the postseason, right?
Oh, yeah.
So let's make sure that he gets those days off when he needs them, and we have other guys who can fill that role.
Absolutely. T. Shaw, you know?
Yeah.
Rockstar Jr. with his versatility. You know? He could play a little outfield if you needed in a pinch. Boom. So, I mean, yeah, I think Poppy is huge, you know, starting out, and that's great for them. And what's really been impressive for me this week has been the effort of the bullpen. And we talked about how they made an effort in the offseason to really kind of bolster that, and it shows. You know, I mean, and like now, Tanichi, after his appearance the other night, he's kind of getting that Toronto monkey off his back a little bit, you know, because they always hit him. So I'm excited about that 7, 8, 9. And then when Carson Smith comes back,
I guess he threw a bullpen session today. It looked really good. So and there was a high pitch count for a guy like him in that situation. He's got another one planned soon, so that could get weird for a lot of teams when he comes back. As far as, I mean, you get past our starting pitcher, and it could be lights out.
Yeah.
It could be ball game over.
They give you six innings. They give you a quality start, which is 6 innings and 3 earned runs somehow. Is called a quality start. You give them one of those, turn over that pen. I like our chances.
I got a question for you, because it was brought up in this Toronto series, because it had happened in the series before the Sox get there. What do you guys think about the new sliding rule?
Oh, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
Because I'm actually, it seems like I'm in the minority here,
Okay.
but I don't have that much of a problem with this rule.
I don't either.
Granted, I mean, and what I found really strange, I'm not sure if you guys caught this, but I'm pretty sure it was the first game the Sox played Toronto. Toronto had just lost 2 nights before on the double play. There was a double play.
Right.
Bautista slid into second, reached his hand out, and slapped the second baseman's foot.
That's illegal against the old rule, too.
Why is and Remy goes on like a 15-minute jag about how can you end a game this way and this and that, and I'm thinking to myself, what's wrong here?
Clotheslined his shin.
I mean, he slapped. It was not a baseball play.
No.
Even in the old rules. Now I get that you know, they really didn't like that you know, that play last year where Utley went in hard at second base and broke what's his name's leg? Tejada's leg. Sorry.
No
you know, that's a tough play, but I really didn't think that was that bad of a play because it was within the rules. But now that you changed the rules, great. So let's play by him. You know what I mean? And it's not a bad rule because, you know what? Just like bowling over the catcher, that's not really something that belongs in baseball. And that was never a play that belonged in baseball. Now that it's out,
Plays at the plate are better now.
Exactly.
Because it's like a slide and dodging a tag as opposed to, I'm going to drill this guy and see if he drops it.
And then part of Remy's explanation of why he really didn't like it was that this is now going to get rid of the neighborhood play, which is going to change everything and make it terrible and create more injuries. And I'm like, let's get rid of the neighborhood play.
Well, they have gotten rid of the neighborhood play. And that's why I'm like, I'm in disbelief because, okay, when you had the neighborhood play before, the slide rule was kind of like, okay, you could go after the guy because it's the neighborhood play.
Right.
But now that he has to slide into the base, as long as you're getting rid of the neighborhood play, so he has to touch the base, there's still going to be an opportunity for you to break it up.
Exactly. Let's play baseball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I was really kind of taken back by Remy's reaction because it was like,
I was as well.
and the league is from what I've seen as a whole, they're like, well, clearly this is going to be taken care of within the next couple of weeks, and I'm like, I don't really see why a need. I mean, yes, it's unfortunate that the game ended like that on a double play, but it should have, because the guy had his foot slapped and he threw wide.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, the players will make an adjustment. I mean, like, it's the first couple of weeks of a new rule in the season. You know, of course, there's going to be some borderline calls that people disagree with, but
no one likes change.
ultimately, you know, players are going to figure out what
Especially
they
baseball
can and
loyalists.
can't get away with. I don't think that it's going to be an issue. And you know, for fans, you know, we'd much rather see the starters in there. We don't want to see starters getting hurt over, you know, a second base slide.
Yeah. It's true. I sure don't want to see Xander Bogaerts going down, I'll tell you that.
No.
But if so, we got Brock Holt put in short. It's nice to have that luxury. Oh, yeah. So this week, looking forward, we got a huge homestand coming up. 10-game homestand?
Starting against the Orioles, who I just in 2016 I've grown to despise. I used to not really be bothered by them because they just, oh great, you got a nice ballpark down there. We go down and spank you every couple, you know.
Oh, you mean Fenway South?
Yeah, exactly. But now that they've come back and kind of bitten us a little bit, and you know,
They have been hurting us.
they're a little problematic.
Showalter is just a good manager,
Great manager.
you know?
He's got
just-
them thinking the right way.
Oh, he always gets the most out of his teams. And it's like, if they get the starting pitching, I mean, that lineup is fearsome, you know? They're undefeated right now.
I
They
was
won
just
today.
going to say, I think they're 5-0.
5-0.
Yeah.
So we got them coming in for three,
Three.
right? And then we got an off day Thursday, and then we got Toronto coming back.
Yep.
7 out of our 19 games with Toronto in the first 2 weeks.
The AL East is no joke this year, guys.
No joke.
It's going to be tough. I think the Yankees are maybe going to be one of the sketchier teams,
Yeah.
I would say. And even they have potential to be really good.
They
I
have
mean, they
sick
get two
lineup.
starters that they've reached 101 miles an hour. I mean, they
got some arms.
They have some arms,
But-
and they're the Yankees.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got they're a little older, so they have some question marks as far as durability, but
Oh, yeah.
they got the talent there.
Yeah, I mean, the back end of that rotation, I mean, CC got a win the other day, but he's going to break down at some point.
Yeah, CC's the
like
problem.
Pineda's probably going to break down
I don't
at
know.
some point.
He's probably clean now. You know, he's not drinking every night.
Oh,
So
I can change that real fast. I'll just have Dave Dombrowski set me up with a penthouse in Manhattan.
He doesn't
I'll
look
take him
though
out
to
every
me
night.
like he's like dropped all, like he's like now he's the guy that instead of drinking he works out all the
Right,
time.
right.
He looks the guy that stopped drinking and he's still like picking up a
chill-
fake Bud Light can every time
Chilling with
something
Panther,
stressful
rifling
happens.
down 40 old duels.
Yeah,
And a T-bone steak right
Yeah.
before the game.
50 duels and a cheeseburger before the game.
Oh boy. So yeah, Baltimore looks tough, and then Toronto back in. I mean, if Toronto can get off to the same bad start that Boston did last year, I really kind of like that.
Yeah, I don't see that. I see Toronto as
They have such a great team. I have such a great lineup, you know.
And you know they're strong up the middle, which you know what I mean. You got Tula at short, and I really like them. Unfortunately, and they're in the AL East, but
Yeah.
I don't like them. But I like their talent this year.
The black and blue division of baseball this year. Everybody's going to beat up on that. You weren't here last week, Ben. I think, what was the total on wins for the Red Sox? 87? What
Over
do you
under.
think of
was
that?
that number?
Over under.
yeah, I would say somewhere between 87 and 90 would be nice.
Sounds like an over bet. I like it.
He's going with the over.
Nice. Denny's the only pessimist.
He was the only pessimist.
What did he say?
He said under. He said
Okay,
under. He said
okay.
under. Me and him went over. Yeah, you actually wanted to go right on the number. You were
Yeah, I
"That
like
sounds
88 wins."
pretty good."
I think it would be interesting to ask that question when the All-Star break comes around.
Yeah.
Just bank that in there for the All-Star break show.
When Mookie gets ready to show the world who he is.
Yes, his first All-Star appearance. I love it. I can't wait. The thing, it's only a matter of time before that kid gets exploding. Can you imagine if this team is hitting the way they are, but then Betts gets going and Bogarts gets going? Incredible.
I mean, if you get the starting pitch and rolling, it's gonna be tough.
What was I gonna say? I lost it. What do you?
What do I got? Mookie Betts is probably the best right fielder in baseball.
Oof. I like that. Yeah, he's an absolute stud.
But he is getting the buzz. He's getting so there is a little bit of pressure on him. There's eyes on him this year. He opened eyes last year, so it's it's the pressure's on this year. But I do feel good about their outfield, and I feel good about the rest of the team. I mean, it's just an all-around great team that you can wrap yourself around and kind of get into.
And really, it has that like almost like a collegiate feel, kind of.
Exactly.
Because like Betts, Bogarts, T. Shaw, all these guys kind of came up together,
They have played
it's
together,
like,
yeah.
Boom, now we're doing, and you see, that's why I love seeing like stuff in the dugouts after it's all the young guys like kind of like,
Yep.
yeah, and I'm just like, whew, this is so awesome.
And we have enough of the old regime still in there
Exactly.
to kind of set the precedent for how they think things should run the clubhouse.
I love it.
Oh, well, the other thing, along with Mookie Betts being a good outfielder, we have a couple guys that are above average fielders. So, not only is it good for our pitchers to see a lot of balls going over the fences, even if it's only by a couple feet, they also have, a huge amount of confidence in their fielders.
Absolutely.
So, pitching for contact instead of strikeouts, is going to be huge for our pitching staff, I think.
Oh,
You could almost see the look on Price's face when Betts made that catch on opening day.
Right?
He was like,
yeah.
oh yes, that's not the first time that's gonna happen,
Right?
or the last time. It just looked like he was like a little kid, like he stuck his fist into his mitt and he was like, yes, like that's gonna be a play that happens.
I can never remember rooting for a Red Sox team where I'm cheering for the opposition to hit a fly ball in the gap. I never really. It was just like, oh my god, I want to see these guys field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's like it wasn't like that. When Ellis Burks was patrolling center. But
No, he'd give you a solid 40 home runs, but maybe
30,
1 year.
30, yeah. Maybe in Colorado.
Yeah,
But,
he never had 40 in Boston.
I don't know. That's stretch. Interesting stat I heard on the bullpen coming into today's game. I know Noe Ramirez gave up a home run, right, to Donaldson. But before that, opposing batters 5 for 50 against the bullpen.
So
You wanna do
1
that?
for 10?
Boom. 100. That is nice.
Little Boston Latin math for
Wow.
you
Nice. Boom. Woohoo. Yep. That's it.
Well, if they can keep that up, things are going to be, irregardless of what the starting pitching does, I think we're gonna be okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, you got Price, you got this right kid. If we can find out, I mean, one of the things that I'm confident, I said this last week, is that this starting rotation is not going to be the same starting rotation. Probably you're even going to see at this All-Star break. So I'm almost excited for that in a way. It's like, let's work through this. Let's see who we got, who shakes out, and
Yeah, because now it's like you're on notice. I mean, Henry Owens just threw 6 innings of one-hit ball down in Pawtucket on Friday night. By the way, Christian Vasquez caught 9 innings.
all 9.
All 9. So,
I like that.
So there's dudes down on the farm that are itching to come up, at least in the AAA level.
Yeah.
AA is a little barren, but yeah. So and Owens with his major league experience last year, that's going to make him that much more effective. And I liked Brian Johnson the few times I've seen him. I think there's something there too. So. And then down, like Espinoza looked good down in Single A, so they got some arms down there in the minors. So I'm quite excited. Buchholz, man, I mean, he April is kind of his worst month, so I'm hoping that better times are ahead. But I really wanted him to secure that 2-hole. Like it's gonna be the Bryson Buchholz show. We're gonna lead this, and it's not really.
Well,
Price
it
and
was
roll the
one
dice.
start. It was as I'm noticing. He's got everyone, the pulse of everyone's frustration level. He's right on it right now. He's really everyone's patience level for Buchholz, I think, is past due, and he's earned that. You know what I mean, over what he's done the last couple of years. But I mean, the bottom line is, it is what it is. He came out. He had a bad outing. It happens. Granted, the game started 15 minutes late. He didn't like that. A lot of people didn't like that he mentioned that. But these guys are horses. It was his first start. He was nervous. He was anxious.
Yeah.
He wanted to get out there. And clearly, he's mentally fragile. That's one thing that everybody, I think, get on the same page at this point. He's a little bit mentally fragile. So, for a guy like that, yes, you just say that to someone who's sitting at home and has to wait 15 minutes for a cup of coffee, and they say, well, you had to wait 12 minutes and that threw off your start. Well, actually, that 12 minutes is like an hour to them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Baseball players are creatures of habit, and they need their routine, especially starting pitchers.
On your first start of the season,
Yeah.
coming back when there's all kinds of questions about you. So I'm trying to keep a positive spin on the Buchholz thing. I think that's a solid arm that we should be happy about in the number 2 position. He just needs to fulfill the role, and losing his first start of the season doesn't mean he doesn't fulfill that role.
Yeah. That's why I always wanted to be a starting pitcher in the big leagues when I was growing up, because you just that every 5th day. So it's like go out, perform.
Yeah.
Then you have 3 days to party like Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
And then you just get back into your routine.
Come into
for a
work
couple
like a
days.
raging a-hole that day that you're important. No, you don't have to talk to anyone. No one's like, oh, get out of his way. You know what I mean? Here's your favorite chicken parm. You know what I mean? And you just get to walk in, throw it down on the ground. I never eat chicken parm. You know what I mean? I eat 4 hot dogs. Oh, okay, here you go. And you go out and strike out 10, and they're like, oh, he's the best, So, yeah, it's a great gig if you get it. Play golf 4 days a week. You know what I mean?
It's nice.
But
It's nice. So yeah, D Price, great. Opening game for the Red Sox, 10 Ks, 6 plus innings. Yeah, so I was psyched, and to see the ball, it was just the opening day couldn't have been any better. It was just so.
That's what I'm hoping for tomorrow.
Yeah.
I am a big believer in my dad always told me there's a lot to be said in the first pitch of the game. If the first pitch is a strike, that's and it's like. There's probably 50% of the teams that threw a ball for the first pitch won or lost, whatever, but it's just a mental thing.
Yeah.
You come out, you win your opening day. You come out on the road, you win your opening day, and you come home, you win your opening day.
Yeah.
You're just checking off the things that you don't have to answer to in August. Oh, well, they're a good team now. They came back, but they lost 10 out of their first 20, and Price went 0 for his first 4. No, we're just clicking those things out of the way that you don't have to answer to. You don't have to answer questions about. Farrell doesn't have to worry about if he's going to lose his job the first 2 weeks of the season. You know what I mean? These are things that they need to not have happen that inevitably happen in Boston if they're not playing well.
Plus, it was really sweet to ruin Toronto's home opener the other night.
It's fun. You know what I mean?
They
It's
kind of
fun.
wheel everybody out like, oh, we have a banner? What?
Yeah.
Did they win it last year?
Yeah.
Does Robbie Alomar know he's coming out for a division banner?
Yeah.
Because he used to win championships here.
A bit shocking that stadium they built it and it looks like they literally. Do they even have a grounds crew? Do they just let's AstroTurf. We don't need one.
How about that bounce that went over Bautista's head?
Oh.
That triple.
Is that a carpet?
Was that
What do you have?
man
Was
ran?
like a rock under the carpet there or something? What happened there?
Oh, my Lord. That's got to be remedied.
I can't believe in 2016 that
Shocking.
that you can still have turf that's in that bad a shape. I mean, that to me that's enough. As Troy Tulowitzki, I don't know how they convinced. Well, they didn't convince him. They sent him against his will, and he cried about it for 3 weeks. But that's probably why. I mean, his career is he's going to lose time because he went up there to Toronto, and I guarantee you his range is like half of what it used to be. Because who wants to dive on that? I'm not diving on that.
That's crazy. And apparently they put in they were saying how they put in new dirt, like in the infield. What was it last year? Was it old dirt? Or was it plastic?
We haven't got new turf.
Yeah.
We got new dirt.
Yeah, it's like
Well, what's the difference between old dirt and new dirt?
we're saving up for new turf next year. Maybe if we can get another division crown, we'll be able to afford it. I mean, it's shocking. Yeah, it looks like the old Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia.
Yeah,
it's
Hey, we
terrible.
built a new building in downtown, so we got a bunch of new dirt that
The
we had to
turf
put
in your
somewhere.
backyard. is
Yeah,
better.
exactly. Seriously, it is.
Oh man, who else had some great production this week?
Well, I was gonna say, didn't we have Eduardo make a start?
Oh, I think he pitched. I don't know if it was simulated
Or a simulated
Sim
game.
game, yeah.
or some type of. He just had a bullpen session or something like that. Yeah. So, I mean, get him 100% because he's only going to be able to pitch 160 innings anyway. So let's have that towards the end of the season, And then that's kind of like a pickle you get with these depth guys like the Henry Owens and the Brian Johnsons down there. Like, how much do you pitch them in the minor leagues, because those innings count to the innings limit too, and it's like if we need these guys in September and October and they're at 140 pitches and we're counting it down, that's no good. So
I'm sure they have to have a good grip on that. You would assume.
You would assume.
There's a fine line of keeping that horse ready and working in between saving them, but
maybe that's the deal. He's just only going to pitch 6 innings because he was pitching 6 innings of one hit ball.
I mean, if this bullpen shapes up the way that's the way it looks like they're going to design their ideal win. Your pitcher comes out and pitches 6 2/3, and then it's over.
Yeah. The before they put up the egg today, the Sox had 6 runs, at least 6 runs, and at least double-digit hits for the first 4 games. Third time that's happened in franchise history. Last time, 1985.
This is an exciting team.
Team.
They're different. They're young. They've got a great mix, and to your point about the character, I just something about the character of this team is exuding. Just from the few interviews that I've watched and how they play, and it's just fun. This is not the old Red Sox that we've known that have won a bit, and maybe they weren't my favorite team, but you got to get it behind them and you got to love them. This is a team I loved on paper before they played their first spring training game and have done nothing to dissuade me in any way to do that. The Pablo thing kind of, what it is, but it is what it is. It wouldn't be the Boston Red Sox if we didn't have something to
some drama,
some drama in the preseason and the early parts of the season. And like you guys said, maybe he comes off the bench when something happens late in the season and provides an amazing home run late in the game, or maybe he takes over for 2 weeks. And
remember J.D. Drew's $70 million grand slam in the playoffs. I mean,
but do you remember the torturous season that J.D. Drew had that entire season?
That's what I'm saying.
It was brutal.
Earned that contract on that one hit.
But it was tough to watch that season.
That was a huge grand slam.
That was awesome.
So if we have to go through some of that to, get Pablo to get a big hit in a postseason, that'd be nice.
Yeah, I was telling you before we came on today, Pablo's had some huge postseasons, 2012 and 2014. Those postseasons, he had some of the best batting lines of any single postseason ever. In top 10. We're talking top 10 sitting with Barry Bonds and all the greats in terms of run, in terms of hits. So, hey, let's not cut him loose yet, because if we make the postseason, this guy has a track record for coming up hot when it counts.
He's gone before the All-Star break.
I don't want to get ahead of ourselves doing postseason. Right now, I'm just thinking about taking at least 2 out of 3 from the Baltimore Orioles.
Yes.
And then, 3 out of 4 from Toronto when they come to town.
That'd be nice.
That'd be nice. That would be nice. So hit these guys up on Twitter. Let them know if we did a good job. Let us know if there's anything you wish we covered or talked about. We can talk about it next week. Give us some questions about next week. Watch us on YouTube. Hit us up in the comments section. Let us know we're awful or we should go in this direction.
I want to hear opinions on the slide rule. Someone back me up on the slide rule. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Give me some feedback on Twitter on the slide rule. I'm right, people, right? I'm correct.
I want to hear more about that, too. Hey, for Kevin Finn and Ben Fay, I'm Mike Conley. This has been Red Sox Rap 360. Thanks, guys. Go Sox.
Go Sox.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.